one name which is very familiar to the Hindi-speaking millions of India. The popular name that tickles their funny bone every morning through front-page political cartoons, wisecracking pocket cartoons, wonderful caricatures, and lively illustrations. The famous name that is familiar in humor-loving literary circles of the Hindi belt is the name behind this magical hand, which is now so effortlessly creating this live caricature of our beloved Prime Minister. This is a brief story of this talented hand, an episode on Sushil Kalra, the Indian cartoonist of extraordinary eminence and excellence. His everyday editorial cartoons and political satires, his multicolor social cartoons, fully blown up title cartoons for the Sunday supplements, his full-page cartoon features for Saptahik Hindustan, his daily strip cartoon with witty one-liners. All these works endeared cartoonist Sushil Kalra close to the humor lovers and followers of print media. Mr. Kalra lives in South Delhi. Every morning, zooming through the busy capital's traffic, Mr. Kalra reaches his work spot, touching the historic landmarks of New Delhi on his way up regularly. Mr. Kalra has been working here as a political cartoonist for the past 28 years successfully.
It was year 1971 when I was assigned to work as cover cartoonist for the evening news, and ever since I'm with this group in one way or the other, and for the last 12-13 years I am drawing political cartoon for the Hindustan.
Creating a political cartoon for the front page, that too for a popular national daily, is not a small task. One often wonders how these ideas actually evolve in the cartoonist's brain.
You see, the process starts right from when you pick up the newspaper from your doormat. You go through various papers and identify what is the hot subject and how you will react to it. It's a really very pleasant job, but sometimes it's like sitting in the exams. You have limited hours to do your job, to produce best of you. And it's almost that half an hour is left and 15 minutes is left. And it goes like that because you have meeting a deadline. Sometimes it's like what you can say. A cartoonist goes through the process of labor pains. Sometimes you see the idea is very instant, and other times you have to fish it out, and it's quite a laborious process. But once your job is done and you are satisfied, then you forget all these pains and everything. And the last thing you have is a big smile on your face. That is how it comes up.
But then, coming out with an altogether new idea every day is more like a rebirth to a cartoonist every time. It is a peculiar challenge posed every morning endlessly.
Yes, it's a really very challenging job because every day you have to be original, you have to be best of you, and you can test the very next morning when somebody appreciates and give you compliments about, and when there are no compliments, then you really feel you are lacking somewhere. But when you enter the office and the persons who don't know you smile at you and give compliments, that is the achievement, and that is the fulfillment also.
Mr. Sushil Kalra was born on the 13th of June 1940 at Gujranwala, a small town in the southern province of Pakistan. He was hardly 7 years old when India was declared independent. The painful partition that ensued saw his family migrating to India for settlement in New Delhi. Mr. Kalra did a 5-year National Diploma in Arts in New Delhi and joined an advertising agency initially.
I started as a humble embroidery designer, but I was instant success, finding myself successful in art. I joined College of Art. Once my principal along with my colleagues, they came to my shop and saw me drawing beautifully, I can say. The principal appreciated it, but one of my colleagues said that he is confined to a very limited area. Let him come to the mainstream and only then we can decide how he stands that way. Although these were bitter comments, but I took it as a challenge, and I start thinking about how I can come to the mainstream. One lucky morning, a friend of mine came and offered me to draw an ad for an inauguratory ad for the opening of a 5-star hotel. They had already tried several options, but nothing really came out which satisfied the customer. So my ad was instant success, and next morning it was there was a 4-column 25-centimeter ad on all the front pages of all the newspapers. Everyone was happy. I was offered a job in advertising agency. Here 2-3 years went very smoothly, but it was only the product or the advertising agency. I stood nowhere. I had a sense of humor, I had a drawing, then why not to try a hand at cartoons? I started drawing cartoons. I started drawing cartoons, and here again I was successful. I was always thinking about politicians. I was always thinking about dirty politics. I got fed up being finding myself being dragged into. Then I thought, why don't you write poetry instead? Why don't you write humor instead? So I quit everything and started working on my novel Nimana. That novel was published with one of the best publishers, and it was appreciated very well. Here I started concentrating more on writing.
Mr. Kalra's pen has unleashed a series of humor works such as Hasi Hazir Ho, Chamche Ka Dhakkan, Pakiza Teri Palki, and a few cartoon compilations, This India and This Delhi, covering his works. Mr. Kalra is a gifted artist with versatile talent. He is famous for his oil works and colorful illustrations for popular book titles. Befittingly as it sounds, this charming lady Kavita was married to the artist and writer Mr. Kalra. Together, they wrote a sweet poem called A Happy Family. Mr. Kalra's urge to explore something far away and something new had landed him in Oslo, the capital of Norway, some time back.
We had a very eminent painter, Selos Mukherjee. He was my friend, my philosopher and guide. I found his quite resemblance of his work in Edvard Munch, the great Norwegian painter. So in quest of that, I went to University of Oslo to learn about Edvard Munch, the Norwegian great painter. It was my first exposure to Europe. I held a one-man show in cartooning at Oslo. I found a great guru in traveling. Now, as and when I had the desire to, or I had the opportunity to go somewhere abroad, I availed it. Then I decided to go to the what they call the end of the world, that is the North Pole. So I went to Oslo, and then station by station, I went towards the North Pole, sketching all my way. So it was a very fascinating experience. Norwegians are very nice people. They had a very different lifestyle. Norway is 6 months night and 6 months day. Everything is so different. I wrote my experiences in the book Madhya Ratri Ka Surya Sanam, that is midnight sunbathing. Everybody liked that because it had the contents were so different from our way of life. So I think that was an accomplishment.
Mr. Kalra, perhaps, is the only cartoonist in the world to have made it to the North Pole.
Then this traveling became a part of my life. I went to London those days, to Paris, and I had a great exposure of art. Then we had a show at Switzerland. Few of the Indian cartoonists were invited, and we were part of that.
Mr. Kalra follows the Hindu faith and loves to worship Lord Sri Krishna regularly. He makes it a point to visit the temple occasionally with his wife to offer their prayers. He loves his plants so much and waters them daily personally. The lady behind the successful man is always very cheerful and very contented. This is really a home sweet home.
Yes, I have a beautiful family. Husband, my two sons. Both are in state. They are well educated. They did studied in state. Both are MBAs. And my elder son, he is married. And I have a very beautiful daughter-in-law. She is doctor All are well settled. I am satisfied and thank God He gave me a beautiful family.
As I said earlier, traveling is a great guru. While researching for my book Hasi Hazir, that's Why Do We Laugh, I had an opportunity to go to Bulgaria. There's a sleepy town, Gabrovo in Bulgaria. Those Gabrovians are very famous for their miserness. They claim that the amount on which an average European celebrates his birthday is good enough for the lifetime of a Gabrovian, because they can manage with this. They are not interested in becoming Vasco da Gama or Columbus, because they know that money put in may not be rewarded. They believe in their journey inside. They believe in discovering themselves because it costs nothing. There are a lot of stories about their miserness. A Gobrovian, he was in search of a empty bottle. The bottle he got had a drop of iodine inside. So he cut his finger. He used the iodine first and the bottle afterwards. I had an opportunity to visit a friend in Bulgaria. When he came to know that I am a vegetarian, he invited me at his place for dinner. So he laid the table with a lot of non-veg, and besides in a corner I put a small potato chips plate and started eating potato chips with me. I asked me, are you also vegetarian? He said, no, it's not that. Eating with a guest in Gabrovo is like playing a chess. There's always a strategy behind. You eat first what your partner likes most, and when you complete the dish, then you have enough time to eat what is served for you. When serving the guests with breakfast, they prefer to use heated knives so that the butter melts on the knife and doesn't reach the bread. In Gabrovo, when a hen lays an egg, it falls behind. It falls into a concealed pot behind it. When she turns back and doesn't find the egg there, in that confusion, she lays another egg. When taking a rented house, they make it sure that the balcony falls under the public lamppost so that they don't have to use their own light for the evening reading. But eventually everything started coming back to the cartooning, because people started comparing me, my two sides, my writing and my cartooning. And again, the offers started pouring on, and once again I turned back to cartooning.
Political cartooning is like walking on a razor's edge most of the time. Any moment, it could land the artist in embarrassment and trouble.
You see, when you are playing cricket, you should know the rules of the game. And so is when you are drawing cartoons, you must know the rule of the game. You should be impartial, and if you are impartial, you are not bitter. And if you are not bitter, then your reaction will be subtle and which will be enjoyed by everybody. And you don't ask favors from any politicians, then I think they won't disturb you at all. So that is the rule, and it never had been in any controversy because I know the rules. I don't hurt anybody that much that he reacts that way. If you draw subtle cartoons, then everybody enjoys that. Even the person who is brought up the humor enjoys it.
On cartoonists from the Western world vis-a-vis the cartoonists of India, Mr. Kalra has a view of his own.
You see, we are the largest democracy, and our print media is at par with the Western world, which is known for its freedom of expression. So we are enjoying the full freedom of expression here. Our cartoonists, they are at par with the Western cartoonists, but Western cartoonists, they are more serious in technique. That's why I think their presentation is much better than our presentation. But the substance is equally good. You see, I'm a happy man. Whatever I have done has satisfied me, and I have yet a few plans. I would like to do 3-4 humor books more. I would like to do cartoon strip. I would like to do 1 or 2 cartoon books, and above all, I would like to continue painting.
Now that the North Pole is already touched by Mr. Kalra, does he aim to reach the South Pole next?
Yes, of course, I would like to, but what about the midterm pole?